Hi creative friends, this is Jane from Sustain My Craft Habit. If you've been following along, you know that we love making felt flowers, and today we'll be showing you how to make pretty parrot and garden tulips with felt. Welcome back to our channel. Felt flowers are really fun to make and can be a nice way to add a long-lasting floral touch to your home decor and crafting. For the last few years, we've been designing a whole garden full of felt flower varieties, which we have in our shop. For spring, of course, tulips are one of our absolute favorite flowers. They're one of the first to emerge once the snow has melted after a long, cold Canadian winter. And unlike fresh tulips, these beauties will last forever. So let's get started.
Now that I have all of the pieces cut out for my parrot tulip, I am going to assemble the flower. So I have my hot glue gun, my clear hot glue sticks, my floral wire. So this is a pretty thin wire. If you have something that's a bit of a heavier gauge, I think it would work best. This is all that I have, so it will do, but something a bit heavier would be recommended or preferred. And then a pair of scissors for trimming if needed. Okay, so I'm just gonna move my pieces for now off to the side. And I'm going to start with the center piece of the tulip. So grabbing this yellow piece, I'm going to roll it. Should be a fairly tight roll. You can glue the tip just to get it started if you find that helpful. Otherwise, just get it started. Try and align these bottom straight edges as much as possible, like that. And then glue that piece just at the tip, like that, and hold it. Hold it until the glue sets. Next, you want to take this black piece that's with the larger fringes and place this yellow piece on the end and begin rolling that to the end. So you're rolling that yellow piece in the middle, and again add a little bit of glue at the edge here, and then hold it, overlapping the edges, and then overlap it until the glue sets. So now that centerpiece is ready, you can just move that aside. You want to prepare the stem of the tulip flower. What you want to do is lay this long green rectangular piece out flat and then cut a piece of wire. Try and straighten it out if there are any kinks. And you want to cut it to the length of that rectangle. Again, try and straighten it out. And you want to take this long rectangular piece and fold it in half lengthwise. But you don't want to fold it all the way directly in half. You want to make one side shorter than the other. And then just do that, kind of crease it all the way down to the whole length of the piece. And then next, you're going to grab your wire and then place it in the center, running the length of the rectangle, and holding that all with one hand. Grab your hot glue gun, and you're gonna work small sections at a time because hot glue gun dries really quick. So I'm just gonna add a little bit of glue along the edge there, and then I'm going to carefully fold the piece over again, sandwiching the wire in the middle, and then hold this or just press it gently until the glue sets. So I've squeezed out some of the glue here. I'm just going to leave it for now. I can trim that off after. So I'm going to continue doing this all the way down the length of the stem. You don't need a lot of glue because you don't actually want so much to squeeze out when you're pressing the edges together. Just enough that it's going to hold the edges together. Avoid using too much glue because you don't want it to ooze out like it has over here. If you can avoid that, that would be good. If not, it's okay. I'm just going to come back and use my scissors to cut those little bits off. And then I just have this little bit left on the end. As that sets, I'm just going to trim the long piece of that wire. It doesn't need to, we don't need that. And that's what it looks like once the stem is glued together. So you see here where I've got a little bit of glue, extra glue. I'm just gonna take my scissors and cut that off. Okay, so now that stem is ready and I can just move that aside for now. Next, what I'm gonna do is prepare the petals. So I have 6 petals per flower. And for the Parrot tulip, I have these additional extra pieces, which I'll show you how to assemble in a second. First, what we want to do is each of the petals has this dart at the very end, the very bottom of the petal. So what you want to do is add a dab of glue on one side of the dart and then overlap the dart by 1/4 of an inch, so that it gives the petal a little bit of shape at the bottom. So I'm going to do that with all of the petals. Again, avoid using too much glue. You don't want to see a bunch of glue on the flower. Okay, so those pieces are ready. Now you want to do the exact same thing with these other petal pieces. Okay, so now those are ready. So now to assemble all of these pieces that are prepared, you want to take this center fringe piece and add a generous amount of glue in the center. Then you're going to take the end of the stem and center it, pushing the 2 pieces together. You want to hold it. It's really important. You want to hold this still until the glue sets. Okay, so once this glue is set and the stem is secure, grab one of these larger petal pieces, add glue along the bottom curve of the petal. And working quickly, you want to then push this petal piece onto the stem and the base of that centerpiece. And then you just want to hold it until that glue sets. Okay, so now that one piece is on. You want to do that with another piece. You want to wrap it around in the same way, keeping in mind that you want to have 3 petals to cover the center of the tulip. So now if you turn this tulip around, you'll see that the whole centerpiece is completely covered. And then if you show this from the top view of the flower, this is what it looks like. Okay, so next I'm going to attach these other petal pieces, and I want to place them in between the first layer of petals. So I'm going to add glue here, and then I'm going to press it onto the flower here. You notice I'm not using a lot of glue. You really don't need a lot of glue. It's just being very quick with your movements, so that the glue doesn't set before you've pushed it on or in place. Okay, so now I have the 4th petal onto the tulip. I'm gonna grab this petal piece, this smaller petal piece, and I'm going to put it over top of that petal that I just applied, aligning it at the bottom. Okay, so then now I'm gonna do the same thing with the remaining petals. So for this petal, it's okay that it layers over top of the smaller one. for this one, I want to look at my initial flower petals. I want to place it in between the first layer. And then just hold it. And then I'm gonna put this piece over the bottom like that. And then my final petal piece is going to go on this side, which again is in between the first two petals that in the first layer that we applied. If it overlaps, that's okay. That's what you want it to look like, actually. And then the last petal piece. Okay, and there's the flower. It's so pretty. So you want to just pick off any of the glue ends. You want to take your leaves for the very last step, and starting with the small leaf, add a bit of glue to the lower third of the leaf. Press it down somewhere along the leaf or along the stem, and then wrap it around. Hold the leaf until the glue sets. And then on the opposite side, you're gonna do the same thing with the longer leaf. Just glue along the bottom and then flip the stem over and roll the leaf around the stem. Hold it until the glue sets. And then once it's set, it's finished. So you see the wire does hold a little bit, but if you were to have a thicker gauge wire, you could really kind of position the tulip however you like. For the other flower pattern, tulip flower pattern, the garden tulip, it doesn't have the extra petal pieces, and the edges are less fringed or jagged than the parrot tulip. But the assembly is pretty much exactly the same, except that you don't have those extra 3 petal pieces that you need to apply to the bottom of the petal. So it's really just the 6 petals, and you apply them in the same way, the 3 layers in the center, and then the remaining 3 petals layering over top of the previous layer. So that's it. The assembly is exactly the same. Once you figure out how to do the one, you'll be a master and be able to do the other.
Now that your beautiful felt tulips are done, you can place them in a vase or on a wreath, or even decorate a tiered tray as we did in this recent Easter decorating video. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe for more nature-inspired DIY, craft, and home decor ideas. See you next week, friends. Bye!